Hello and welcome to this new video. So in today's video, we'll be discussing about some of the MCQs from this topic called as the bacterial skin infections. So today we will be discussing almost about 10 of the MCQs. So let us see what are those. So let's get started. So the first MCQ is Ecthyma gangrenosum is it caused by Pseudomonas, Staphylococcus, Streptococcus or Clostridium? So this is something that you have to memorize. So ecthyma as a disease, this is a bacterial skin infection. So what happens in ecthyma is there are two types of ecthyma. One is ecthyma pyogenicum and the other is ecthyma gangrenosum. So you have to memorize that ecthyma pyogenicum is either caused by either Staphylococcus or Streptococcus. Whereas this disease called as ecthyma gangrenosum is caused by Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas. And how does the patient present? The patient may present to you something similar to like this, where in the middle the patient may develop a black colored, chocolate colored crust, or it is called as an eschar. So this is the most common presentation of ecthyma gangrenosum. So the takeaway message is ecthyma gangrenosum is caused by this bacterium that is called as Pseudomonas. Whereas if the question was ecthyma pyogenicum was caused due to, so the ecthyma pyogenicum is caused by either Staphylococcus or Streptococcus. So this is about the first MCQ. Now let us see the second one, the disease that is caused by the organism that is shown in this image. So what is seen in this image right now? Concentrate on the image. Is it scabies mite? Okay, is it Sarcoptes scabies or is it something else? So please try to remember that this is a typical presentation or this is a typical image of a Pithris pubis. Pithris pubis, or this is the pubic louse. This is the pubic louse. Pubic louse. So this pubic louse is going to cause this infestation, which is called by the name pediculosis. Pediculosis. So this image is called as the Pithris pubis or the pubic louse. This has a small resemblance to a crab, isn't it? So this is also called as a crab louse. This is also called as a crab louse, and this will be causing this infestation, which is called by the name pediculosis. Pediculosis. So let's see the next MCQ. That is a 20-year-old male presents with a smelly foot. Means that is a foul smelling feet. Now on examination, the horny layers of the soles of the feet are pale, fissured or pitted in places. So what is the diagnosis? So someone who is having a malodor, especially probably once someone is removing a shoes and all, probably is having a condition called as hyperhidrosis, means there is going to be increased sweating. So what you see on examination, the horny layers of the soles, means the stratum corneum, is going to be pale, fissured or pitted. So this is a condition which may be seen something like this, where the patient would be complaining of multiple pits over the palms or the soles. So this condition is called as pitted keratolysis. This is called as pitted keratolysis. So among all these options, since the question says there is multiple pits over the foot, this is going to be pitted keratolysis. This is again a bacterial skin infection, which is usually caused by Corynebacterium. Is usually caused by Corynebacterium. Now, strawberry tongue is seen in Vaginous granulomatosis, lichen planus, scarlet fever, and psoriasis. So I hope all of you know that strawberry tongue, a tongue that looks similar to this fruit called strawberry, is seen in two diseases. The first one is called as the scarlet fever, and the second is called as a Kawasaki disease. Kawasaki disease. So out of which, from all the four options, the best option here would be going to be scarlet fever. Would be scarlet fever. So let's see the next MCQ. Which of the following statements is false regarding the condition that is shown in the image? So what is the condition that is shown in the image? First, let us concentrate on the image. So you can see multiple erosions are seen near the perioral area, and there is some kind of a yellowish discoloration. So golden yellow honey colored crust are seen. So this is typical for this condition called as impetigo. So we have made the diagnosis now. Now let us see what are the options. The option A says it is caused by a gram-positive cocci. Of course, we all know that impetigo can be caused by either Staph aureus or Streptococcus. So that is fine. The second one is the initial lesion is a thin-walled vesicle on an erythematous base. So we have to agree, because this thin walled vesicle, once it breaks, what happens? The contents of this vesicle may get dried up over the skin, and that the end result is going to be this yellowish, golden yellow, honey colored crust. So peripheral extension of the lesion occurs with central healing. So that is doubtful. Let us see what is the option number D. The condition can involve any part of the body. Obviously, this is going to be a superficial bacterial infection. It can involve any part of the body. So the best option here would be peripheral extension of the lesion occurs with central healing. Because where do you expect such a peripheral extension? This is usually expected in some fungal infections, isn't it? Probably you will be getting an annular kind of a lesion, that is circular kind of a lesion, and these lesions will be extending peripherally. So these lesions, once it extends peripherally, what happens? There is going to be a central clearing, isn't it? So this sentence is more likely towards the tinea corporis or tinea infections, but this does not fit for the presentation for an impetigo. So let's see the next MCQ. The causative organism of erythrasma. Again, this is asking the causative organism of erythrasma. So Staphylococcus, Corynebacterium, Streptococcus and Pseudomonas. So let us see what does erythrasma mean. So erythrasma is again going to be a superficial bacterial infection. So what happens in erythrasma is that you would be able to see such a hyperpigmented, hyperpigmented rash is seen without any itching. Without itching is seen in erythrasma. This is the most common presentation of erythrasma. So once you do a small examination using a Woods lamp. So what is the finding in a Woods lamp examination in erythrasma? In Woods lamp examination, you will be able to find a coral red fluorescence. Coral red fluorescence. So this disease called as erythrasma is caused by a bacterium that is called as Corynebacterium. It is caused by Corynebacterium minutissimum. So Corynebacterium minutissimum is a causative organism in erythrasma. This is again a superficial bacterial skin infection where the patient would come to you with complaints of a hyperpigmented area, especially over the groin area or near the axillary area, without any complaints of itching. So if you do a simple test called as a Woods lamp, you will be able to see a coral red fluorescence. Now what is the answer for this MCQ? Is it Staphylococcus, Coryne, Streptococcus or Pseudomonas? So the answer is going to be Corynebacterium. So let's see the next MCQ. The following diseases are caused by Staphylococcus via direct infection of the skin and adjacent tissues except. The options are impetigo, ecthyma, carbuncle and staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome. This may sound a little tricky because impetigo, as we discussed just now, is going to be a bacterial infection and the causative organism can be Staphylococcus. So B, ecthyma. Ecthyma was also discussed because ecthyma pyogenicum was caused by Staphylococcus or Streptococcus. Carbuncle, which means there is a pus forming infection of a group of contiguous hair follicles, that also may be caused by Staphylococcus. Now the last one, but the name itself says staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome, but the right answer here is going to be staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome. But why? Staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome is not happening due to the direct infection of the skin or the adjacent tissues. What happens in staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome is that there is usually a child who gives you a history of a partially treated conjunctivitis. The child may give you a history of a partially treated staphylococcal conjunctivitis or a skin abscess or bullous kind of impetigo. So there is going to be some focus of a skin infection caused by staphylococcus which was not properly taken care of, and that is the reason why this staphylococcus will release toxins into blood, and finally the end result is going to be staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome. So staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome is due to toxin mediated disease. It is going to be due to the toxins that is released by staphylococcus in the blood. So in this question, all the options are going to be directly staphylococcal skin infections, out of which staphylococcal scalded skin syndrome is going to be the odd one out. So that is all about this MCQ. So the next one, that is, a young boy presented with lesion over his right buttock which had a peripheral extension and a central scarring. So the investigation of choice would be, so a young boy is complaining of what kind of a lesion? He is complaining of a lesion, some kind of a lesion over the buttocks, and this lesion is extending peripherally. And what is happening? This lesion is actually leaving a central scarring. So any lesion, probably a plaque lesion, so a plaque lesion that extends with central scarring, what comes to your mind? So any plaque lesion that extends peripherally and heals with a central scarring, the option that comes to your mind is a cutaneous form of tuberculosis called as lupus vulgaris. So lupus vulgaris is the type of a cutaneous tuberculosis. So once you are suspecting a cutaneous tuberculosis, what is the investigation of choice? Is it a sang smear? Is it a KOH preparation? Is it a biopsy? Or is it SDA agar? So the answer here would be a biopsy, because SDA agar can be used for some fungal culture, whereas KOH preparation would be the first investigation that you would do for a suspected superficial fungal infection. Sang smear is usually done in some kind of a vesiculobullous disease, also in pemphigus group of diseases. So here the answer would be biopsy. So let us see the next MCQ, skin hazards of swimming. So someone goes for swimming, ends up in some kind of a disease. So what is it? Is it Mycobacterium marinum? Is it Mycobacterium ulcerans? Is it verrucae, means the warts? Or is it Pyoderma gangrenosum? So here the answer is going to be a typical type of Mycobacterium, that is Mycobacterium marinum, which would be causing this kind of a atypical mycobacterial infection. So Mycobacterium marinum is going to cause some kind of a disease. This is going to be fish leading to fish tank granuloma. It is also called as a fish tank granuloma. So among all these options, skin hazards of swimming is going to be Mycobacterium marinum. Now let us see the next MCQ, that is, a 35-year-old male presented with a very painful ulcer with violaceous margin and undermined edges for 2 months on the lower leg. He also reports about a bowel problem. The most likely diagnosis is, so a patient is there, 35 years of age, and he is going to complain of an ulcer, and this ulcer is not healing, because this ulcer is there for more than 2 months now. But at the same time, the question says he also reports about a bowel problem. So what is the most likely diagnosis? Is it a tubercular chancre? Is it a Pyoderma gangrenosum? Is it scrofuloderma or a vasculitic ulcer? So please remember, whenever you get a question about a non-healing ulcer, along with a bowel problem, usually going to be irritable bowel disease like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. The most likely diagnosis is going to be a type of a neutrophilic dermatosis called as pyoderma gangrenosum. Called as pyoderma gangrenosum. This is a type of neutrophilic dermatitis. So this is a single best answer for this question. So right now we have discussed 10 questions from this topic called as the bacterial skin infections. Hope this revision has helped you. Thank you so much.